Hello everyone, I'm Deb Courtney. Welcome to my channel. So glad you're here today. I'm beginning a series in regards to friendships and or relationships. Keys and strategies, ways in protecting to nurture a worthy relationship / friendship. It's based on this saying, and it goes something like this. If possible, as far as it depends upon you, be at peace with all people. You know, there's two kinds of ways a person can enter your life. They can enter your life to bless you, a person can, or a person can enter your life to destroy you. You know, there's a golden rule. It's been around a long time, and most everybody's heard this. It says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. It's a long time adage that's been around longer than I've been here. So, but there's a lot of truth to that. And this could be not just friendship relationships like boyfriend, girlfriend. Of course, that does. Those relationships are real, but it can be with marriage. It can be with siblings. Friendship relationships can be with careers, the people you work with. There's all kinds of friendships and or relationships because no one is an island unto themselves. No one. Sometimes we might wish we were, but it just doesn't work out that way. So this series is going to be quite intense simply because of the nature of friendships and relationships, a topic in and of itself to begin with. And I wanted to do each one justice. And I wanted to explore each one with just 3 main points. And that in itself is going to take just a little bit of time. So let's begin. And the first one I want to begin with as far as our friendships, relationships is concerned has to do with keeping our word. And I wrote these down on a note card simply because it helps me to remember which order I want to put them in and not to forget any main point that could help you. Now, I do want to just interject this right quick, like take which ones that or you're having a tendency to be needing to and listening to the most, that you can glean from the most. Every one of these may or may not apply to you in your life at this time. So take the ones that do and leave the ones that don't. They may later on in your life. And you may know someone that could glean something from a particular topic. So let them know. Say, hey, Deb's talking about, and then tell them what it is, and say, you might learn something. Just go check it out. And so I wanted to just put that in there. The first one I want to talk about in regards to friendships and relationships has to do with, like I said, keeping your word. The first point is this: make things right with anyone you have wronged in the past or present. Now, a lot of times that's hard to do. And I've been there, done that. And that's what you're saying. Hey, Deb, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Well, you're absolutely right. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. But you can do this. And I have done this. And I have found it's hard. But if you can get to the individual that you have wronged, which is what I have done in the past, and tell them, and they may not say anything to you while you're talking, and they may just turn right around and walk off. They may even slam the phone down on you. Sometimes I had to attempt more than one time to right or wrong. Sometimes first time they just didn't want to hear it, and they just shut you out. not listening to it, get out of here, go, no, and just, put their fingers in their ears or hang up on you, not a problem. However, you made an attempt. So, if you can get out what you want to say to the individual through communication, through words, then by all means do that. And it's setting you free. Now, what the person does with what you have tried to say or tried to right the wrong, you cannot control that. And don't beat yourself up over it. I've done this enough times. I've really done this enough times to know that my intentions were good. I'm human. I messed up. I did something bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. I ask for forgiveness. Will you forgive me? And I'd like to make this right if I possibly can. All of that, you go with them too. However, when you bounce that ball from your side of the court into their side of the court, then what they do with that is completely and totally up to them. But when you do that, you have released that to them with good intentions, not with manipulation now. I'm not talking about trying to manipulate somebody. I'm talking about with good intentions to right or wrong. Then you can live easier. You can breathe better. You can exhale and go about what you hope. Hopefully they'll come around. They may never come around. But the fact still remains that you've tried to right or wrong. They either go for it and say, okay, not a problem. Let's continue our friendship. Let's continue working together. Try to make it a win-win situation. Nothing ever works with a win-lose situation. They may have to take what you've asked them to do as far as righting a wrong. They may have to think on it a couple, 2 or 3 days. They may not be able to come back with you with okay, let's go forward. And if they don't, then you have to you have to be ready to accept that. But when they do, should they, and when they do, then accept it and continue on with the friendship or the relationship as good as you possibly can, and go from there and get on about your business. And if there's something if someone you have to really work with and have to be around, then, and a lot of times it's really, 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 really about communication. And anyway, so number 2 is never promise what you cannot produce, and never do it in a state of exceptional excitement or joy. Now, a lot of times people, they get caught up in the moment, what you might say. I'm sure you've heard this terminology probably before. I just got caught up in the moment. I really wasn't thinking. I just thought that this would be a good thing for me to do, to get involved in. Little did I know that we've been there, done that. Some of us have, a lot of us have. So there's nothing wrong. If you find yourself in a situation to where you have promised something and you can't produce it, then you really need to go to that individual or that organization or that group of people and let them know what has happened, what has transpired, what has taken place because in order for you to not to produce what you said you would do. Now, a lot of times things happen in life. Life happens. We all know that, okay? So a lot of times circumstances beyond our control, will warn us not to fulfill a promise. Doesn't mean that we didn't want to do it, but circumstances beyond our control took us to a different place than what we had hoped for us ourselves to be, to have came through with a promise. And like I said, some people, you get, like I said, in a state of exceptional excitement and or joy. You just get caught up in the moment, and then when you come down from that moment, the next day or however long it takes, you think, oh my goodness, what did I promised that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. How's that going to look? That's when you go to whomever or whatever you made a promise to and see if there is a way that this can be tweaked. And a lot of times it can. Sometimes it can't. And so you just will have to deal with the consequences. But don't ever not deal with it. Just don't ever not show up, because that would really be worse than if you was to say, hey, you know what, I made this promise, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know what? It could be that it could happen later on down the road. And they said, well, don't worry about it. Hey, this come up, you couldn't help that. So maybe it's something that you can do 6 months from now. So there are ways of working things out. Okay, another point, the last point in keeping your word is carefully review and fulfill any vows, promises, or pledges you have made to anyone. And this is really good in keeping your word. I have each one of these three I have had to do and have done many, many, many times in my life. And so sometimes you start out, okay? So sometimes you start out. You've pledged something, you've vowed something, you've promised something, and sometimes you start out, everything's okay. If it's a monthly pledge or a vow that you're giving some money to an organization, you've got the extra money, you're doing it. Then at some point in time, maybe you pledged for a year. That's basically how long I've pledged something for, is for a year. 12 months. So you pledge for a year and you say, oops, something has happened. Car breakdown, medical situation, things of that nature. And so you get to looking at your budget and you get to looking at things and you say, I'm just curious if I call this person and see if I could postpone my pledge or vow for like 3 months or 4 months, however long, and could pick it back up at a certain period of time. So you get on the phone and you see if that's doable. 10 times out of 10 it's doable. They don't have a problem with it. Hey, like we said, life happens. You got to do what you got to do. And so it's a win-win for them and it's a win-win for you. So just know that there are strategies that you can have at your disposal just by communicating and finding out what would be a win for them and a win for you. Well, as far as keeping your word, these are the 3 points that I wanted to bring in today as far as friendships and relationships. It happens the same thing in friendships and relationships with personal friendships and relationships. You can use the same strategies, same keys, same tactics, but we're here to protect and nurture a worthy friendship and relationship. Remember that. If you try your best to protect and nurture a worthy friendship and relationship, if it is worthy, you will know. Because the other people, the other person, the other organization, they will reciprocate to you. They will want to make it a win-win because they will want to keep the relationship and the friendship with you. If it's not, you'll know. And then you do what you can do and go about your life. Well, I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you found me. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the bell and subscribe to my channel. Love to hear from you. If you have anything to add to keeping your words as far as friendships and relationships are concerned, please, by all means, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And everybody else that's tuning, that's listening and looking, you might have something that we can glean, others can glean. So by all means, share it with us. Please share it with us. Thank you for being here. I will see you again, and go out and make it a great day.